Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to this kick-off moment of the 2018 Mayor on Main Trolley Tour. We are so excited that you started with Greater Ashmont today, and it's my pleasure to take a moment to introduce our mayor, whose commitment to small businesses as an economic engine of our city has been demonstrated throughout the last years of his term. So his term to date, we had at the very inception of his first day, maybe, the increase in the Main Street budget in recognition of all that he heard during the campaign season. To expand the ability of each Main Street organization to do programming and the kind of public events like starting this Friday, the 10th season of our Ashmont Farmers Market. The 5-year small business strategic plan put together by his administration has laid the groundwork for the continued investment in the neighborhood commercial districts in the years ahead. The small businesses that you see, small on the micro small scale, the mom and pop shops, not the under 50 staff, but the under 10, actually drive the tremendous amount of the growth in each neighborhood and subsidize the further development of the district. The housing works with the commercial space, and this administration's commitment to developing those in tandem has made visible impact in the streets. You can see it in Dorchester, but you can see it throughout the city as a whole. We have had increased outreach with technical assistance through the small business program, with rotating technical assistance in the neighborhoods that businesses can get to more easily than if they had to go downtown or to the SCORE presentations in Cambridge or what have you. And integration with all city departments for efficient collaboration. One thing I'd point out here is we've had the Mayor's Mural crew do the Scarecrow mural across the street on King Street. They're coming back this summer for this building on this side for something next to Crawford Drug. We have all the signage you see in this building and facade improvements and a lot of technical assistance from the business owners behind the scenes that's invisible, where they get help with QuickBooks and marketing and strategy like that. Those resources from the city are things that we say people have already paid for with their tax dollars, but the Boston Main Street program that this mayor has supported so thoroughly is what makes it possible for people to know about them and access them. Thank you for joining us here today. I'm going to turn it over to you because there's more to say about these businesses and volunteer winners.
Thank you. Thanks, Jen. First of all, I think we should give Jen a round of applause. You're an amazing. Thanks, Jen. As I was pulling down the street, I looked at the notes and I forgot for a moment that the Greater Ashmont has changed, and I was saying, this isn't Greater Ashmont, this is St. Mark's, and it's Greater Ashmont now. I just want to, let me just thank, before I thank the businesses, I want to thank a lot of different people. I want to thank City Councilman Anissa Sabi George for joining us today. Anissa knows the transformation of this neighborhood, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. I want to thank John Barros, who's the Chief of Economic Development, of which now Main Street falls under, and really working on creating opportunities and promoting more around small businesses. I want to thank him and Carolyn in his office. I want to give Sheila Dillon a shout out, who's here today, who has done an amazing job at Main Streets for many, many years. Thank you, Sheila. I think Sheila's in the building, or she's outside the building. I want to thank Emma Handy is our CFO. And she is responsible for the money, so let's give her a round of applause. Dave Sweeney, Chief of Staff, used to be responsible for the money, but now he's responsible for everything, so thank you, Dave Sweeney. And his family grew up not too far from here. His father was born not too far from here. What's special about this area is I represented as a state representative, and I remember when Main Streets came in. St. Mark's at the time was not on the list for Main Streets. It was Fields Corner, it was Ashmont, St. Mark's 1-on-1, they fought for one, they fought for one, they fought for one, they weren't getting it. The Civic Association next door, down in the church, and the community rallied to make sure that St. Mark's got a Main Street. And I don't want to say it was an afterthought, but it was kind of like, let's just give it to them because they're going to make so much noise. And watching what's happened in this area in the 50s and 60s was a bustling business district. There were people here, there were immigrants here, and it was really booming. And And in the 70s and 80s and 90s and early 2000s, businesses were struggling to make it here. And then you start to feel a transformation. And I think that Greater Ashmont, the strength of having Greater Ashmont together, working on the entire corridor, is so important for this area. And as I look around, seeing, and I said the story earlier, I probably shouldn't have done video, but I came here for breakfast one morning to Dot Cafe, and across the street, literally, where I think there's a hair salon there now, something right across, I was talking to Karen, and she says, there's a brothel across the street. I'm like, what are you talking about, Dutcher Avenue? And there was a problem in Dutcher Avenue. And at the time, I think it was, I'm not sure which captain it was, but we worked on getting it, but it was really the community. And the success of Main Streets is twofold, in my opinion. It's the community, and it's the businesses. And if you don't have the community to support the businesses, you don't have the businesses, and if you don't have the businesses in the Main Street, you're not going to get the benefits of that. And we're in a restaurant tonight, today, that has been here for a while, a different variation of the restaurant. But it's important. I want to thank you for continuing moving forward and not giving up, because it's about making it happen. And as this neighborhood evolves, and the beauty about what's happening here today, it's the same as what happened in the 50s and 60s. The neighborhood is loaded with new people, the neighborhood is loaded with immigrants, and the neighborhood is loaded with people who care. And I want to thank you for bringing this incredible restaurant to this neighborhood. And I was watching the chef behind me and John Barros eyeing those chocolate things. They're gone now. I almost went there, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your investments in our community. I want to thank you for being part of a bigger movement here. And you know, our Main Street program is one of the best in the country. And I have to say, you know, for years when I was a rep, we talked about Rosendale, and when I became the mayor, we talked about Rosendale, and now we're talking about Ashmont. We're talking about how you're moving in a lot of different cylinders. So it's about the leadership, it's about the board, it's about the people, it's about the civic associations, it's about the businesses. So we want to congratulate you, and we have a little recognition for you. I think I'm supposed to do this right now. Let me just make sure I got all my notes. I think I did, and I got I don't know who's going to be up here with me. John, come on up here. Jen, come on up here. And anyone else who wants to come up? Carolyn, get up here. City of Boston, Greater Ashmont, Main Street's 2000 Business of the Year is hereby awarded to Zia Jana Cafe in recognition of their commitment to the neighborhoods and to the Main Street programs of Boston. It's signed by myself and John Barros, and we want to thank you. And this is our first stop of the weekend, and we're proud to be here. I'm certainly proud to be here in this neighborhood, and congratulations. Good? You want to say anything?
There was something that you had for the mayor.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I will.
Can you get the Ashman shot out for him?
Yes.
Is it that chocolate thingy?
Let me get the next award up, then I'm gonna try
He's
it.
gonna prepare.
No, you're prepared. You wanna go ahead, come on. You going to the table? Alright. And you know, as important, and what we realize, as important as having good, strong businesses, having the support of the city, having a strong director, those are all important aspects of a Main Street. But really, I think when you think about the heart and soul of a Main Street, it's the volunteers who put their time in and dedicate and clean up the street and do the things they need to get done just to get it done. And I want to congratulate you, Mark, on being the Volunteer of the Year. And I know that this Main Street Volunteer of the Year award is a legit competition. Because there's a lot of people to choose from. So I want to thank you, Mark, for your commitment and what you mean to this community, what you mean to this Main Streets, and thank you for everything you do. And thank you for being a private citizen engaged in your neighborhood. You make it better. Thank you. And you can tell the restaurant's good because you have people in this restaurant from the Ponset, You got people in this restaurant from Ashmont Adams. You got people in this restaurant from Savin Hill. You have people in this restaurant from all over the place. So it's not just a local restaurant. It's abroad. You go into other neighborhoods, which is diversity, which is great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Greater Four Corners. We are delighted to have all of you here and to celebrate our awardees today. Let me first tell you who I am. I'm Marilyn Foreman, and I am the chairperson of the board for Four Corners Main Street. Our executive director, Nicole, couldn't be with us at this time, so she made me do it. So I'm here, and I'm happy that you all are here. I'd like to also acknowledge and take this opportunity to introduce Bob Thornell, who has been a long-standing member of the board. He's here. And I want to acknowledge Marvin Martin, Mella, and Myra from the Greater Four Corners Action Coalition, and we've been partners forever and a day. And here is Iris DuPont, who represents Mount Bowdoin Betterment Neighborhood Association, and she's doing fabulous work over here too, with some placemaking activity. Yes, who am I forgetting? And I saw Mr. Larry, who is representing United Neighbors Association, UNA, another neighborhood association here in Four Corners. So we are delighted. We're going to get started with our program. We're happy to have you here. We're happy to have our 54th mayor of the city of Boston here with us, Mr. Mayor Marty J. Walsh.
Thank you, Marilyn. And I want to, first of all, thank everyone for coming out tonight. I know we're celebrating 2 Main Streets, but right now we're standing in Four Corners. And I just said it down the street at Greater Ashmont. I remember when Four Corners started putting their applications in many years ago to get a Main Street district. I was a state rep, not in this. I was right across the street, the other side of Bowdoin. And this was a neighborhood that was trying to move forward, and Marvin and Bob and a bunch of neighbors got together and they said, you know, we need to make sure that we can bring in strong businesses in our neighborhood. There was some action happening down Corbin Square in front of the health center. They were redoing the health center, and they were bringing in places like Walgreens, and they landed McDonald's and some other folks, and there seemed to be a lot of action going on down that end of the street. And up here they're saying we have to do some of that, and I want to commend them, everyone who had something to do with this, the current board members, the past board members, the past directors, the current directors, just for the great work you do, because we're really seeing revitalization in our Main Street programs around the city of Boston, and there's a lot of reasons for that. And I want to give a couple shout outs. I want to thank John Barros and Carolyn Crocker from the Office of Economic Development. I just gave Carolyn a promotion. Thank you, Carolyn. Now Main Street sits in economic development, and they're doing some great things. I want to thank Sheila Dillon. For years, had Main Streets under her purview. I don't know if Sheila truly gave it up to John, but I know that there's a collaboration right now, so I want to thank them both. I want to thank my Chief of Staff, Dave Sweeney's out with us today. Thank you, Dave, for being here, being part of this. I want to thank Chief Willie Gross from the Boston Police Department. Chief Gross is around somewhere. Thank you, Chief. And Superintendent, Deputy Superintendent Dennis White. Sorry, Dennis. I drew a blank on you for a minute. Thank you, Dennis, for coming out today. I want to thank the officers of C11 as well for being here today, and everyone for coming out. And, you know, one of the things that's important about Main Streets is that Main Street success is really based on the community to support the businesses. And also the community depends upon the businesses to come into their neighborhood. Yes. So it truly is a collaboration and a partnership. And I want to thank all of the businesses that are here today and represented here, and the great things that you do in this neighborhood, employing people and bringing vibrancy to a community, because it is important to have that vibrancy in a neighborhood. So I want to congratulate you. And we have a couple of awards that we want to give out. And the first award is for the Business of the Year. And there's no question about it. I just went in to the Business of the Year for Corners Yoga and Wellness. And I want to thank Christine and Karun. Sorry, Karun, I'm going to get that right, because Karun is I'm going to come in for massage later on. Thank you for that. And I'll tell you, you know, I was just talking to them inside, and I'm not going to say everything we talked about, but their mindset to make this successful is in the right place, because what they talked about, and I don't know if they realize this, they talked about giving back to the community. They're a business in the neighborhood, but they actually spent the whole time while we're inside talking about giving back to the community. And we couldn't have picked a better business of the year. And I want to wish you well and thank you for your investment. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support of this community and what you do for all of the people in this neighborhood and other people. And I wish you years of success. And I have the official proclamation. Four Corners Main Street 2000 Business of the Year to Four Corners Yoga and Wellness in recognition of your commitment to the neighborhood and to the Boston Main Street program, presented today by myself and John Barrows, Chief of Economic Development.
So Christine and I strive to focus on hospitality and effectiveness. So the welcome that we have received from everyone has helped us to just amp up our commitment to welcoming and being effective and helping people to feel better with the skills that we get to offer every day. So thanks for being here to honor us with that.
Thank you. And as I said earlier, you know, Main Street District is about the people and the community as well. And these Main Street programs, there's some money for staffing, but most of it's done by volunteers. Most of it's done by the community. And there's usually a big volunteer base of people doing something, whether it's just sweeping in front of a business or advocating for a business or making phone calls. And I want to thank all the volunteers. But I want to present today. We have the Volunteer of the Year Award. Works as an organizer for Main Streets in programs that involve our young people. Founded a nonprofit to assist low-income families and at-risk youth, something that we need drastically in our city. Gets involved with the kids in the Four Corners cleanup in the neighborhoods and helps the big Four Corners holiday party. And I'd like to introduce Satrina Curry. Yay. And same citation, Four Corners Main Street's 2018 Volunteer of the Year.
Hello everyone. I just want to say thank you to all my supporters out here who honor me with this award today. Thank you.
And our next Main Streets is Fields Corner Main Streets. Again, another great partner in the city of Boston, and anyone that has had the chance to, hold on a second.
That's right.
If anyone has had the chance to walk through Fields Corner over the last 15 years, you've seen a transformation of the community. You've seen businesses come, you've seen businesses leave, or long-standing businesses leave. You've seen the work that Main Streets has done. Next to the Blarney Stone, you saw for years it was the old Emerald Isle empty storefronts, and you've seen that change. Hi-Fi Pizza change. You have a new development in there, all the way up to the train station. Actually, Main Streets was a big part of the revitalization of Fields Corner train station about 15 years ago. They stayed, they pushed. So I want to congratulate Fields Corner Main Street. I think Matt's here. Matt's right here. Thank you, Matt. And I want to. I think we want to. Actually, I should have given this to you, Matt. We'll do it the other way. I'm introducing Matt.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for the introduction. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say at this point. You said very good things about Fields Corner, except that we've done a lot of really good stuff over the past year. And our Volunteer of the Year and our Business of the Year were really a big part of that. And the Mayor's office has been very, very accommodating with every request we had, including our Volunteer of the Year. One of the reasons why he got that award was he helped us get all of the Vietnamese lanterns up and down Dowd Ave for Vietnamese New Year. And the Mayor's office and the DPW were very accommodating to help us get that set up. So I can't say how grateful we are to have great partners in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. And if you've seen the lanterns, actually it was amazing because it was they caught me off guard. I was going down Dowd Ave one day and they were beautiful and really just revitalizing the whole neighborhood. So thank you for that. The first recognition in Phil's Corner that we want to recognize is the Business of the Year, and that's Fresh Fruit Generation Cafe. And I think Ed and Ashley are here. They're going to accept the award. This company runs a catering company, a food truck, and have a small home at the Dorchester House Health Center. Obviously, they're known for their community spirit and what they've done. They serve fresh, healthy food and also help hire locally, and that's really important. So not only do we have a business that's in the community, but we have a business that's an employer. We have a business that's also passing along healthy nutrition. So it's more than just a business, and that's why these recognitions are so important. So I want to thank you for everything.
Thank you, Mayor, and we'd like to thank Phil's Corner, Main Streets for this award. It means a lot to us. We put in a lot of work towards getting the mission of the owners of this company, and that is that no matter who you are, where you live, everyone should have access to good, fresh food. And they helped us put that into effect, and we're just happy that everyone's here.
Michelle is here, the CEO of the Dorchester House, so we just want to say thank you for allowing us to be your employees, Phil. They didn't like us for a while for it, but yeah.
And I want to thank Michelle, too, from the Dorchester House, who's been there for a long time in different roles and now is the director of the Dorchester House and does incredible work. So thank you, Michelle, for everything you do for us. So, as Matt mentioned earlier, we were talking about the lanterns and the volunteer of the year. As I said earlier, it's about creating opportunities. Most times the volunteers help beautify a community, clean up a community, be active in the board, making sure that the main streets are active and people shop there, and today is no different. The actual volunteer of the award is Vivian Gerard, who couldn't be with us today, but Gabe is here with us today, Headman, who's going to accept the award. And Matt talked about this, help get the giant Vietnamese lanterns off the light poles before a storm, showed up with his team, took care of them in a few hours. When Phil's Corner Main Street needed someone to help build floats for the Dorchester Day Parade, Vivian made that happen as well, and they always have a big presence in the parade, probably one of the biggest, and also working to pick up trash and litter while running the Dorchester Day 5K race, and came in second place. That's pretty incredible right there. I don't know if that says that he was really fast and the streets are really dirty, or we just did a good job of cleaning the street up. I don't know what it is. But.
This is one piece. You got it.
All right, here we go. And before I end, I just want to say one thing. Just make sure, I know I'm preaching to the choir, but make sure that we talk to people about shopping in the Main Street districts. It's really important. I know at Christmas time, we really make a big push, and that's generally the time of the year that the businesses make their money for the whole year a lot of times. But these businesses are open 360 other days a year, not just the 5 during Christmas. So it'd be great if you can use the businesses, shop locally. That's something really important. So between going online and going to a mall, shop in your neighborhood. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out. I'm Wynn, the Executive Director of Bowdoin-Geneva Main Streets, and I'm here to introduce Mayor Marty Walsh. I just want to tell you a little bit about Bowdoin-Geneva Main Streets. We've come a long way. We're 75 businesses strong, trying to add a few more. We're a young district, predominantly immigrant, and we're looking for new members all the time. So if you'd like to join Bowdoin-Geneva Main Streets, come talk to Paulo and or myself to see if you have a business in mind that you want to start here, or if you want to add different businesses to the neighborhood.
Thank you very much, Anna. And I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Bowdoin-Geneva Main Streets, as Anna was saying, is predominantly immigrant, and that's what our city is. We're an immigrant city, and it's something we should be very proud of. 28% of the people that live in our city have come from somewhere else. 48% of the people in our city are first generation like me. whose parents came from somewhere else, so we truly are an immigrant city, and it's important for us to remember the culture and the tradition. And right here today, what we're doing here is remembering that in this great restaurant that was here. So I want to thank all the great work of Main Streets. I want to thank, actually this isn't technically their Main Streets, it's down the street, so I want to thank you for your work of your Main Streets on the street. And you know, every year we do the walkthrough in Bowdoin-Geneva at Christmas time, but throughout the year there's been some great restaurants and stores that have come in that neighborhood. So I just want to remind everyone to make sure that they continue to shop locally and shop in their business Main Street districts, because it's important to support the people that we support. You don't have a strong Main Street unless you have strong businesses and you have strong volunteers and a strong community. And here's no stranger, we have a great business here, and the first award for Bowdoin-Geneva Main Street, the Business of the Year, is Cape Verdean Taste. I think everyone has been fed already by them, so they're going to lose a lot of money today because they gave us all for free, I think. And I want to thank you for that. I want to thank Anna and Alberto and all of the girls for the great work you've done here. I want to congratulate you. There's people waiting in line for the lobster-filled pies here, but I can vouch for all the other great food here as well. So we want to congratulate you, and I think we have a plaque here for you, and I'll get it in a second. While we're getting the plaque, I want to thank John Barrows, the Chief Economic Development for the City of Boston, who's doing some incredible work. I want to thank Sheila Dillon, the Chief of Housing for the City of Boston, who used to have Main Streets under her jurisdiction, and now it's under John's shop. I want to thank, Dave Sweeney, my Chief of Staff is here. I want to thank Dave Sweeney. We're also, we can clap for Dave. We're also joined on this stop by the Commissioner of the Fire Department, Joe Finn. Thank you, Joe. The Chief of the Police Department, Willie Gross. We have Deputy Superintendent White with us today. Thank you, Deputy, for being here with us. Carolyn Crockett's around somewhere as well from the Office of Economic Development. Right here, Carolyn Crockett's. It's her birthday today. Carolyn wrote an incredible book. She's an author, she's a birthday, she's got it all going on right now. So congratulations. But I want to present this to Cape Verdean Takes in recognition of your commitment to the neighborhood, to the Boston Main Streets program, in recognition of the Bowdoin-Geneva Main Streets 2018 Business of the Year. It's signed by myself and also John Barrows, Chief Economic Development.
Thank you for everybody. You know, people, thank you, God. I bless you, God, for everybody here. Me hope again. Thank you for Mayor. Thank you for Anna. Thank you for Du. Thank you for everybody support me. Thank you for Paul. Thank you for everybody for Mayor. God, thank you.
Thank you for coming back. And what comes with a strong Main Street district is the businesses, obviously, but also having volunteers that are committed and dedicated to the neighborhood, because a lot of the Main Street doesn't have a big budget like the Chamber of Commerce, but it really depends upon the neighbors and the residents. And I want to, this year's Volunteer of the Year is to Kayla Knight, born and raised in Boston. She spent her last year at Bridgewater State working on equity issues in the Bowdoin-Geneva area. Thank you for that. She puts her Spanish to use, hiring and helping local business owners, so congratulations.
Yay!
Congratulations, Kay Williams!
The next, oh actually, is Val here? Where's Val? Val, come up here. Sorry, Val, you gotta say 2 words. Val is the director of Uplands Corner Main Street.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming in celebration for all the wonderful volunteers and business awards. Sorry, I dressed up because I was going to be in the back. I'm always in the back of the seat. I apologize, but we just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work, especially to Sue, who's our volunteer of the year in Uplands Corner. She's a board member now, and it was unanimous, but for the last couple of years, she came on board into the district. She has been open and willing to give her talents and support, and we were so happy to have her just serve the community, serve Uplands Corner Main Street, and being a board member was the next, logic thing to do, which was a unanimous vote, as well as a volunteer. And Jay, our executive director of the Uplands Corner Health Center, is so wonderful. I mean, his organization has given so much support. We partnered with the Street Festival for the last 2 years, and we're doing it again in September 15th, so everyone's all welcome. And just all your support and even financial sponsorship. We wouldn't be here without you guys, and thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And same thing on Uplands Corner, we have a Business of the Year award, which we're going to present in a second, and the Volunteer of the Year award. But I've said this story many times. In 2013, when I ran for mayor of Boston, my kickoff was at the Strand Theater at Uplands Corner, and there was another candidate in the race. His name was John Barrows, and he came out to me and he said to me, "You had a kickoff in my neighborhood today." And I said, "Well, that's my neighborhood," and we both argued about it. It's both of our neighborhoods now, So we both love Uplands Corner, and certainly what's happening at Uplands Corner is incredible. The city has a lot of plans for Uplands Corner, and one of our biggest partners is the health center. And I just want to take a minute. The Business of the Year is the health center. I want to thank Jay. Jay's been working with John's team and Sheila's team on really working about revitalizing Uplands Corner, and the Main Street District started it, and we're going to keep it coming now with the new library and renovation of Strand Theater, and we have a whole bunch of plans for Uplands Corner. But today is a celebration about the Business of the Year, and just so you get a real little feel for what the health center means to Uplands Corner. Provides obviously high quality, affordable health care, social services for the community, serves more than 12,000 patients a year, and has more than 500 staff in the health center. He's been a huge supporter of the Main Street program, and has partnered on, as you heard earlier, the annual festivals and other neighborhood events, and is a key part of really what we want to do as far as the investments and the transitions we want to make in Uplands Corner. For as long as I can remember as a kid, when Kresge's closed, and Cummings closed, and Rick's Drugs closed, and all those places in Uplands Corner closed, as CBS came, Foot Locker came, the main staple really was the health center. And I remember when the health center was down the street in a basement of a building way down Columbia Road, and then they built their new building, and been such a vital part of our community. So I want to congratulate the health center and have you come on up here.
Thank you, Mayor. It's a humbling honor for all of us at the Health Center. And as the Mayor said, we are wanting to be a huge piece of the neighborhood. We feel we're stewards of the community. We want to make sure that the main businesses in the area continue to thrive and we bring in more. We want to make sure that the other members of the neighborhood, the community, continue to thrive. And the health center is just not a health center. It really is a location where people can come to and get all their needs met. And we really appreciate everything that people are providing for us, so we can continue to provide them back to the neighborhood. So thank you.
And as I said earlier, it really is, the board of directors is important, the volunteers are important, the business are important, they all work together. And in Uplands Corner is no different. The volunteer of the year is Sue Kelleher, and I just want to read a little bit about what Sue has done. She's been an active member of the Uplands Corner Main Streets. She's volunteered at all the neighborhood events, all the street festivals, fundraising, tree lighting, which is one of the most attended tree lightings that we have when we do the Mayor's Trolley Tour. Small Business Saturday, Love Your Block, all of those different programs are moving forward. Help the annual health fair move outdoors, incorporate arts into getting more participation in the community, and recently elected to the Uplands Corner Main Street Board of Directors by unanimous vote, and that in itself is probably a feat because sometimes there's a lot of conversation at those meetings. So, Sue, come on up here. Sue didn't want to speak, she said, except for shopping up its corner, so she was in my ear. And I want Ed Gaskins, come on up here, Ed.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate you coming out to the neighborhood, and I appreciate this program. It gives us an opportunity to acknowledge our businesses and our volunteers. In our case, our Business of the Year, just so you know, is that she took advantage of our Restore program and our technical assistance, but she didn't just receive from us, she gave back. She decided to help try to improve the quality of life in that corner, try to deal with some public safety issues, dealt with prostitution, panhandling, loitering, and all that kind of stuff. And so she single-handedly organized all the business in that area, held regular meetings, and really made a difference. And so it improved it for everybody and improved the quality of life and made a better city. We have a great volunteer that will be coming up, and I didn't really want to tell people about her, not to keep her as my secret weapon, because she did such a great job. Everybody was envious of our graphics work, and while we had such high open rates on our constant contact mailings, but I appreciate the fact that you personally have come into our neighborhood and will acknowledge the people that have made a difference in my neighborhood.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you for your work. And Grove Hall, thank you to the board members that are here and the board members that couldn't be here. And I appreciate that. And we're going to talk, first award is Business of the Year. And that's Lulu's Barbershop and Salon. Woohoo! Someone up here? They won't be here? They're here. Well, as they make their way up under management of Mary, Lulu's has embraced the importance of giving back. As Ed just said, I really can't say that any better. Having a business with a strong community, a strong sense of belonging, a strong sense of moving forward. I want to thank Lulu's and make sure when you go to Grove Hall that you use Lulu's. Is she here? Well, Mary, if you're here, come on, don't be shy. We'll get Mary in a minute. We have a thing for Mary. And the volunteer of the year, Jesse Field Sierra. Thank you, Jesse. Ed also talked about what Jesse has done, but one of the most important things that you can do as a district, obviously, is have the volunteers, have the support, but also be able to get your message out. Designing a new newsletter, bringing a new level of professionalism to the neighborhood and showing people what they have. Thank you for that, because not everybody has that, and we hit about 5 Main Streets today that probably want you to come out. So Ed will get mad at me, but thank you for what you've done here, and even when Jesse's out of the country, she's still on the job. So congratulations and thank you for it. And we have a recognition here for you.
Yes, go ahead. Speak about your dedication. Even when you were in Europe, you did our newsletter.
I'm amazing. Thank you so much, Ed. It's been a pleasure working with you. It feels really good to, use my skills for something that really has an impact on the community, and I look forward to doing it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. Now make sure you go in and eat food. Get a hair braiding. Go down the corner store. Use the main streets.